Fans of Outlander have always been captivated by the on-screen chemistry between Caitriona Balfe and Sam Heughan. From the very beginning, their portrayal of Claire and Jamie Fraser has drawn admiration, with many wondering what it must have been like when the two actors first worked together. Recently, Caitriona opened up in a rare and candid revelation, sharing her true feelings about that very first collaboration with Sam. According to Caitriona, the moment she met Sam and stepped onto set with him, there was an immediate sense of trust and comfort. She explained that even though they were entering uncharted territory as co-stars, there was something natural about the connection. She admitted she was both nervous and excited, but Sam's energy and openness made it easier to bring authenticity to their roles. What stood out most in her revelation was how genuine she was about her initial reactions. Caitriona confessed that she instantly felt Sam's dedication and professionalism, but beyond that, she sensed his warmth and humor, which quickly erased any tension. She acknowledged that having such a strong partner from day one allowed her to take creative risks and fully embody her character. For years, fans have speculated that their undeniable bond was more than just good acting. Caitriona's words now confirmed that their connection was real, though rooted in mutual respect and artistic trust. She revealed that their first collaboration set the tone for their entire journey together on Outlander, describing it as both grounding and inspiring. The unexpected honesty in Caitriona's admission has left fans buzzing across social media. Many are expressing renewed admiration for the duo, praising the authenticity that shines through in every scene they share. Others believe her comments explain why the love story between Jamie and Claire feels so deeply believable. It comes from a foundation of genuine partnership behind the scenes. While Caitriona has always maintained a professional stance when discussing Sam, this rare glimpse into her personal feelings about their first time working together is a reminder of why Outlander continues to resonate so powerfully. It wasn't just the writing or the setting, it was the chemistry born from two actors who immediately found common ground and built a trust that still carries the series forward today.
The wild ride of Outlander will end after the upcoming 8th and final season. But it remains to be seen if Caitriona Balfe and Sam Heughan will be back on the small screen as their iconic characters before the end of the 2025 TV schedule. As a fan of the fantastical time travel romance period drama going back to the beginning, I always keep an eye out to see if Outlander will be recognized on the awards circuit, and even asked one star for their thoughts about why the popular drama always gets snubbed by the major events like Emmys, Golden Globes, and Critics' Choice. Now, months after Balfe lost out on a major award, she's been nominated for another that I think could be perfect for her work on this series. She's in the running for Best Actress in a Science Fiction or Fantasy Series, Limited Series, or Made-for-TV Movie at the Critics' Choice Super Awards. The nomination was announced just months after she was in the running for Best Actress in a Drama Series at the main Critics' Choice Awards. That trophy went to Kathy Bates for Matlock, beating out Found's Shanola Hampton, Black Dove's Keira Knightley, The Diplomat's Kerry Russell, and Shgun's Anna Sawai, as well as Balfe for Outlander. Now, I'm certainly not saying that Kathy Bates didn't deserve the award, and I was actually thrilled to see a network TV show getting some recognition. But Sophie Skelton's comments about why Outlander doesn't get awards love have stuck with me since I spoke to her back in February. The actress, who plays Bree on Outlander, told me, "I think one thing that's beautiful about Outlander is that it fits into lots of genres and lots of categories, but I think also that can maybe sometimes be its downfall, because it maybe doesn't fit. It's sort of one of a kind, so I think it's difficult for some people to peg where it fits in. As I say, I think that's actually a good thing about it, and that means that there's something in it for everyone. If Outlander strays too much into genre for any wins in general drama categories, then what better event for Caitriona Balfe to take home a trophy than a category from the CCA that literally has to give the award to a leading lady from a science fiction or fantasy series? It's right there in the category title. After all, no legal procedurals for the win on this one. Balfe is admittedly up against some stiff competition for Best Actress in a Science Fiction or Fantasy Series for the Critics' Choice Super Awards. Also in the running are Audrey Arjona for Andia, Catherine Hahn for Agatha All Along, Britt Lower for Severance, Kristen Milioti for Black Mirror, USS Callister, Into Infinity, and Michelle Yeoh for Star Trek, Section 31, and all are worthy options. Still, I think it bodes well for the Outlander star that she's at least up against actresses who are also from genre series, and each of them put in solid work on their various projects. But with only one season of Outlander left and no sign that Caitriona Balfe will be in either season of the recently renewed Blood of My Blood prequel, time is running out for the leading lady and her show to get the awards attention I think they deserve. Even if she doesn't win at the Super Awards, I will at least enjoy that she got a nomination as I continue to try to get over how hard she was snubbed for her standout work in Season 5. The winners of the Critics' Choice Super Awards will be announced on Thursday, August 7th, which just so happens to be exactly one day before Outlander. Blood of My Blood premieres on Starz and 2 days before the anniversary of Outlander's first ever episode. Outlander, the epic Starz saga launched in 2014, has enchanted viewers with its stirring mix of romance, historical drama, war, and time travel. At its heart is Caitriona Balfe's magnetic portrayal of Claire Fraser, a World War II nurse thrust back into 18th century Scotland. Despite legions of fans and decades-spanning narratives, both show and star have often felt underappreciated on the awards stage. A show that defied easy categorization, Outlander has long been praised by critics and loved by audiences. Its imaginative, genre-bending storytelling, and yet, its uniqueness may have worked against it. As actress Sophie Skelton astutely observed, the series fits into lots of genres and that can maybe sometimes be its downfall during awards season, since it doesn't slot neatly into one category. Cinema Blend, the Emmys, notoriously hesitant toward romantic period dramas, have nearly ignored Outlander. In one of its most disappointing years, Season 4 received 0 nomination, not for acting, technical work, or even period costumes and production design. Even at its most submitted year, the show only yielded below-the-line nominations, such as music composition and production design. The Balfe Effect, fierce, poised, and often overlooked Caitriona Balfe's performance as Claire is the emotional and moral core of Outlander. She has amassed multiple nominations across major awards, Golden Globes, Critics' Choice Awards, IFTA Awards, but despite her nuanced force on screen, a win has remained elusive. Her Golden Globe nominations span from 2016 through 2019 for Best Actress in a TV Drama. The Critics' Choice Awards saw her nominated not only for her work on Outlander but also for her supporting role in Belfast. Irish recognition came in the form of IFTA nods for Best Actress in a Lead Role in Drama, though she didn't take home the trophy, losing to Kin's Claire Dunn. Even beyond Outlander, her role in Kenneth Branagh's Belfast was richly praised and earned her nominations from SAG, BAFTA, Critics' Choice Movie Awards, and Golden Globes. Yet, most conspicuously, the Oscars snubbed her entirely, a stark contrast to her fellow Belfast co-star Judi Dench, whose smaller role earned fan frustration and critical bewilderment. Fans have been vocal. After the Oscars overlooked her, one Redditor lamented Caitriona Balfe being snubbed for Belfast in 2022. Seeing her not get nominated after putting in such an incredible performance really stung, especially when Judi Dench was nominated and her role was a lot smaller. Another similarly remarked, Caitriona Balfe for Belfast, swapped in favor of her co-star Judi Dench, who only made AACTA on Outlander's fans' pages, praises equally fervent. One post about Season 5's emotionally wrenching episode Sticks and Stones read that Balfe's Emmy reel is fully intact, an award-worth performance. ScottishDailyExpress.co.uk. Another fan, revisiting a harrowing scene, shared genuine fear. Utterly flawless, she is such a good actress despite consistent excellence. The awards circuit has consistently snubbed the show and its lead. A beacon at last, a new Critics' Choice Super Awards nomination. So why, after years of being overlooked, is there finally cause for optimism? Recognition in the right genre. Caitriona Balfe has earned a nomination for Best Actress in a Science Fiction or Fantasy Series, Limited Series, or Made-for-TV Movie at this year's Critics' Choice Super Awards, an award tailored to genre storytelling, where her performance can shine without wrestling for classification. This is particularly meaningful. While her prior nods came in more generalized or outlier categories, this one places her directly among genre peers. Competitors include Audrey Arjona, Catherine Hahn, Britt Lower, Kristen Milioti, and Michelle Yeoh. The nomination comes just months after she lost in another major Critics' Choice category, And the timing couldn't be more poetic. Critics' Choice Super Awards winners will be announced on Thursday, August 7th, just one day before the Outlander prequel Blood of My Blood premieres, and 2 days before the anniversary of Outlander's first episode Cinema Blend. It's like an artistic baton pass, a nod to the legacy even as the story evolves. A storied career poised for its moment from modeling to scene stealer before Outlander. Barf started in modeling and appeared in films like Super 8 and Now You See Me. After the breakout role of Claire, she gradually pivoted to directing and film, with credits like The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance, Ford v Ferrari and Belfast. She has also stepped behind the camera to direct episodes of Outlander itself, and is now filming a new adaptation of Sense and Sensibility. A phenom yet to peak, she continues to expand her craft not only as an actor and director, but also entrepreneurially. Her Scottish-based gin brand Forget Me Not supports arts initiatives, and through a fan-led fundraising initiative she's helped plant over 217,000 trees. Her trajectory suggests her brightest awards moments may still be ahead. If this nomination is any indication, recognition may finally be catching up. Genre lovers deserve recognition. Genre TV often features groundbreaking performances, but gets sidelined by traditional favoring drama, legal or crime shows. A nomination in a genre-specific category is more than a win. It's fair recognition. Barf's clout can elevate the genre. As a deeply respected actor, Barf's acknowledgement could help pave the way for genre performers to be taken more seriously at the highest awards levels. An emotional arc of redemption for Outlander fans, Barf's journey from repeated snubs to a chance at validation feels like the story itself, a long, emotional journey finally reaching a hopeful conclusion. Final thoughts. Across a decade, Caitriona Barf and Outlander have enthralled audiences, inspired devotion, and stood resilient in the face of critical indifference. Barf's performance, regal, raw, and resonant, deserved its share of trophies long ago. But now, as the Critics' Choice Super Awards shine the right spotlight on the right category, there's reason to believe celebration is finally on the horizon. Whether she wins or not, this nomination signals something meaningful. A genre star recognized on her terms, and a long-overdue milestone in the making of her legacy. The recent nomination isn't just about personal vindication for Barf. It symbolizes a shifting tide in how prestige and genre are perceived by awards institutions. For years, genre has been shorthand for less serious and unjust hierarchy where fantasy, sci-fi, horror, and romance are seen as popcorn entertainment while gritty crime dramas and historical biopics are dubbed awards-worthy. But recent years have begun to disrupt that old guard. Awards bodies are finally catching up. The Critics' Choice Super Awards were created in 2020 specifically to honor genres historically snubbed by legacy awards. It's an implicit acknowledgement that institutions like the Emmys, Oscars, and even the Golden Globes haven't always rewarded daring, audience-favorite storytelling, especially when it comes with fantastical or romantic elements. Barf's nomination isn't just about her. It validates the millions of viewers who've long known what the awards circuit chose to ignore. A great performance is a great performance, no matter what genre it belongs to. Consider what this could mean. Increased legitimacy for genre-focused awards, encouraging bigger platforms and streaming services to take them seriously. A broader pathway to Emmy and Golden Globe recognition, especially with future roles in genre or speculative storytelling. A model for other networks and showrunners to push for nominations in newer, more responsive awards forums rather than legacy institutions that are slower to adapt. Leading a quiet revolution. Barf isn't loud about her frustrations with the industry. She doesn't tweet angrily or campaign aggressively for nominations. Her grace under this years-long drought is part of what's made fans love her even more. She has instead let her work speak. Over 7 seasons of Outlander, she's embodied Claire Fraser with a mastery that rarely dips in quality even when the plotlines stray or the tone shifts. From portraying medical trauma to sexual violence, birth scenes to battlefield trauma, Barf has quietly redefined what a television heroine can do. And she's done so with intelligence, subtlety, and a commitment to authenticity. With the Critics' Choice Super Awards nomination, it finally feels like the industry is beginning to listen. What this means for Outlander and stars. It's impossible to talk about Caitriona Barf's awards arc without discussing Outlander itself. Stars has invested heavily in this adaptation of Diana Gabaldon's novels, creating a series that's lush, daring, and emotionally grounded. The network has always positioned Outlander as its prestige flagship, and rightfully so, but the lack of industry-wide awards recognition has long felt like a dissonance between popularity and prestige. A legacy cemented. If BAF were to win the Critics' Choice Super Award, it would retroactively elevate the entire Outlander franchise. 4 stars. It could mark a crucial moment of cultural validation as the network transitions toward new projects, such as the prequel Blood of My Blood. A win would signal that Outlander was never just prestige adjacent, it was the real thing all along. Furthermore, for younger actors on the prequel, like Harriet Slater and Jamie Roy Barth's recognition would be a torch passed from one generation of Fraser to the next, a signal that their roles are not just franchise entries but potential award-worthy showcases in their own right. More than trophies, it's also important to recognize that for Barth, as for many actors, the work itself often means more than the trophies. She has said in interviews that what matters most is telling stories that connect with people. And Outlander has certainly done that, with millions of viewers across the globe, dedicated fan pages, book clubs, podcast communities, and even academic studies dissecting the show's complex portrayal of gender, time, and trauma. Still, awards are currency in Hollywood. They translate to power, more agency to choose projects, direct episodes, and greenlight creative risks. Encourage Barth's evolution into a major behind-the-camera force, whether as director, producer, or creative showrunner. Set her up for leading roles in prestige genre films, perhaps in sci-fi epics or fantasy sagas, where women often still face underwritten parts. Secure her place in Hollywood's A-list, not just as a TV actress but as a film powerhouse, especially following her Belfast performance. Why fans feel this so deeply? For Outlander fans, this nomination is more than just an industry note. It's emotional vindication. It's the culmination of watching someone they admire pour their soul into a character for a decade, only to see that effort repeatedly overlooked. There's a personal attachment here. Claire Fraser's journey has mirrored the lives of many viewers in subtle ways. Her strength, vulnerability, fierce intelligence, and moral complexity have made her a character to live through. And Barth's performance has made that connection possible. A win would feel like a win for every viewer who's ever felt dismissed, unrecognized, or underestimated. It would also reinforce the idea that fan-led support matters. Over the years, Outlander's audience has kept it alive and thriving. Trending hashtags, online campaigns, write-in ballots, and passionate word-of-mouth have helped make the show's success possible. And now, the critics may finally be catching up to what fans already knew. What comes after the nomination, whether she wins or not? This moment signals something critical for Caitriona Barth and for actors like her. If she does win, it could open the floodgates for overdue acclaim. Her next project, Sense and Sensibility, could be seen through a more respectful lens, not as an actor's vanity project, but as the natural next step of a recognized auteur. If she doesn't win, the nomination still breaks a pattern. It ends a near-decade run of total award show omission and establishes a new precedent. She belongs here. She'll also remain a contender for future awards beyond Outlander, whether through film work, television, or her increasing influence in the producer or director's chair. And if she ever returns to genre again, perhaps in a sci-fi limited series, or a historical film with a twist, she'll be carrying the respect that only now is beginning to accrue. A nomination that feels like a turning point. So often, awards come late, after the show has ended, after the performances have faded, after the artist has moved on. But for Caitriona Barth, this nomination doesn't feel belated. It feels timely, poetic. Even as Outlander prepares to close the chapter on Claire and Jamie Fraser's epic tale, the woman at the center of it all is finally getting her moment. This is a turning point, not only for her, but for how we define excellence across genres. Caitriona Barth's nomination is more than a gesture. It's the first step in rewriting a legacy that should have been recognized from the very beginning. If I was talking to Caitriona Barth in the early noughties, the focus of our conversation would have taken on a completely different flavor. This was Barth's heyday as one of the most sought-after models of her generation. After being scouted, aged 18, While collecting money for charity at her local shopping center in her native Ireland, she almost immediately became a mainstay of Fashion Month, opening and closing shows for high-fashion juggernauts including Chanel, Givenchy, Moschino and Louis Vuitton. But mention Caitriona Balfe now and most will immediately reference one thing: Outlander. The Starz show, based on the series of books by Diana Gabaldon, has become a cult series, beloved by fans worldwide. It follows the journey of Balfe's Claire Randall, a former WW2 nurse in post-war Scotland, who finds herself thrust back in time to the Highlands of the 18th century. The hugely popular show is currently broadcasting the second part of its penultimate season, and the cast has just wrapped shooting the very final series. It will mark the conclusion of more than a decade of Balfe's professional life as an actress. "It's been such a strange year," Balfe admits, "calling me from London, where she lives with her husband, the band manager Tony McGill, and their young son. Knowing that it was coming to an end, we all definitely felt heightened emotions at various times throughout the process. Finishing up was so emotional." After the show's final days, both Balfe and her co-star Sam Heughan embarked on solo, somewhat spiritual, adventures. "I went away and did a yoga and meditating retreat, and Sam's about to go on a trek in the Himalayas," she says. "I think we're all finding something to put our energy into." That's a very long-winded way of saying, "I think I'm okay." The role of Claire Beecham Randall Fraser is, one might say, the role of a lifetime, or several in fact. Balfe's decade-plus relationship with Claire has been an actor's gift, allowing her to traverse time periods and cross the genres of period drama, action, war, and fantasy epics. The emotional arc alone has stretched Balfe's artistic muscles such that she has been laden with plaudits, including Golden Globe and BAFTA nominations, throughout the show's run. "My relationship with Claire has completely evolved over the years," she says. "In the beginning, you were filling in all of these blank spaces of her history and her memories, and then, as the years went on, you're living it, you're creating them in real time. And so, in a way, without sounding weird, she lives within you." I think more than anything what I realized is, for me, personally, what an amazing teacher Claire has been. Indeed, before taking on the role in 2013, Balfe might perhaps have been known as that loaded phrase model turned actress with largely just an uncredited role in The Devil Wears Prada and a small part in Spielberg's Super 8, to her name. Yet Balfe's talent in Outlander is unavoidable, right from her earliest appearances. "Oh, my resume was so short and sweet before Outlander," she says, laughing. "But the great thing about this genre is that it can be so many different things, and it has been so many different things. So as an actor I've been brought to a really incredible depth of emotion, and there is much," Balfe says, "that Claire taught her on a personal level. She taught me how to be responsible, taught me how to use my voice, how to stand up for myself and for other people, about compassion and empathy," she says, pausing, already sounding slightly nostalgic. "I hope I brought some of those qualities into it, anyway." If Outlander was the perfect advertisement for Balfe's considerable talent, it was the 2021 film Belfast that gave her recognition on an unprecedented level. She received a BAFTA and Golden Globe nomination for her role as Ma in Kenneth Branagh's critically acclaimed film. It served as a reminder that, really, Balfe's acting is only getting better and bolder. Between breaks in Outlander, she took roles in the films Ford v Ferrari, Money Monster, and The Cut, and next spring will see her opposite Rami Malek in The Amateur. She has avowed to take a break following her decade of Scottish time travel, but after having directed an episode of the show, this may prove another new direction for the multi-talented Balfe. "I was asking our producers for a little bit if I could, and in season 7, I got the opportunity to do some second unit stuff," she recalls. "That was amazing as a first foray into it. When I got to do a whole episode, it was just so much fun. So I would love to do more. I am going to try and have an actual break though," she says, sighing, "and then I have a project I'm trying to write myself." She won't be drawn on more. So I ask what legacy she thinks her landmark series will have left. "Honestly," she says, "I think the thing I'm the proudest of is that after 11 years, we're all really great friends, and we all have such a love for each other. There are just so many amazing moments I will cherish."